That's right. It's a case with more questions than answers. It involves drugs, a missing woman, and a convicted felon. As time ticks by, family, friends, and law enforcement continue to look for clues into the disappearance of a Suwannee County girl who vanished over 2 years ago.
It's kind of hard to put closure to something when there's nothing there to put closure with.
It's been over 2 years since Stephanie Warden laid eyes on her daughter. 24-year-old Camry Mitchell was last seen by family on August 25, 2012 in the Bradford Lake City area. That night, Camry's friend, 35-year-old Andrella Witcher, broke into her home and got into an argument with her and her father, Jeff Mitchell, over prescription pills. Camry called police, but Witcher left the home before they arrived. The next morning, Camry and her white Pontiac Grand Am were missing. It was only a few days later, thanks to a Facebook post, there was a major break in the case. First came hope, then came heartbreak. It was along this road that investigators found the vehicle of Camry Mitchell, but inside there was no Camry.
There was some of her belongings in the car, which would not necessarily be unusual, but there were some things that were there that, you know, I would think that I would take with me if I just parked my car there.
You know, trying to hold out hope that, Camry will show up.
Sheriff Tony Cameron says so much time has passed, the case is now considered a cold case. 12 days after Camry went missing, Andrella Witcher was charged and convicted, but only for home invasion and armed burglary. He's serving 5 years in prison for those crimes. Witcher is no stranger to the law. Listed on the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's website as a sex offender with convictions dating back to 2003. Witcher denied any involvement in the disappearance of Mitchell. A closer look into Witcher's past shows another woman went missing in 2007. Witcher's ex-girlfriend, Heather McCrossin, disappeared and has yet to be found. So for Camry's mother, Stephanie, she can only assume the worst.
I feel they hurt my daughter, and she's somewhere. I don't know where, but I don't think she's alive anymore.
Camry did leave a piece of herself behind, her then 2-year-old daughter. Camry's mother says she's the one shining light in such a dark mystery.
That's what refreshes me when I see her, because I get that piece of her. You know what I'm saying? I get to see that even though she's not here.
While answers to what happened to Camry Mitchell still linger, one person who may know what actually happened sits in a jail cell. Sheriff Cameron believes Andrella Witcher knows exactly what happened to Camry Mitchell.
My personal belief is yes, he knows something. Will he ever speak? I don't know. Will someone else who knows speak and step forward? Don't know. We hope so.
Cold case detective Kevin Allen out of Alachua County is currently looking at Mitchell's case as well because he noticed some similarities between Camry's case and Witcher's ex-girlfriend Heather McCrossin. That leads him to believe Witcher may be involved in multiple cases and disappearances.
Breaking news overnight, you're looking at the scene at FSU's campus at the Strozier Library. 3 people injured, a gunman dead after a shooting there at the library. The school placed on lockdown. The all clear finally has been given. Good morning. Thank you for spending part of your day with us here on WTXL Sunrise. It is Thursday, November the 20th. I am Kelly Bartoli. We have a lot of big news to get to this morning, but we begin with more details regarding the FSU shooting inside the Strozier Library.
There has been a shooting in the library. Stay where you are.
Chilling audio there, and that is what students on campus heard around 12:30 last night. An active shooter on the campus inside of the library. This is video from the corner of Call and Dewey Street where the shooting happened. Just a little bit after, you can see the large police presence. Now, when responding officers got to the scene, they say that suspect was holding a gun and refusing to put it down. Officer David Northway with Tallahassee Police say that's when shots were fired by the FSU Police Department. The shooter himself was killed in that exchange. 3 victims were also injured. They are taken to local hospitals getting treated for gunshots. Now, of course, while this was unfolding in the overnight hours, parents, students taking to the internet and social media to respond to this. This was the alert that was sent out talking about the dangerous situation, urging everyone to get inside and to stay safe. They were sent this message just around 12:45 a.m. Now, the all clear again has been issued, but still some very tense, scary moments in the overnight hours. Police say the library is going to be closed off today. Students, though, can still retrieve their belongings with the help of law enforcement. Classes at FSU are canceled today. Now, university services are still open, and faculty also told to respond to their campus office. There's also a prayer service being held at 10 o'clock this morning at the fountain on Landis Green. And we've learned that FSU President John Thrasher now on his way back from New York. Our reporter Morgan Moore has been following this situation since just after the shooting happened. She was on the scene and was able to talk to some students about what they were experiencing while that lockdown was going on in the library.
First, it sounded like just like a shotgun, yeah. But we heard, but from talking to people who were actually in the library who made it back, they said it sounded like a machine gun. So we don't really know. You know, like I said, it's all speculation at this point.
The video you see being circulated by students, this was what police were doing in the minutes and hours after that shooting. Very tense situation overnight. Now, Morgan Moore has been standing by, and we're hearing that there is a press conference set to begin in just a few minutes for the latest, and we will try to bring you that as soon as those details become available.
Welcome back, everybody, to the WTXL ABC 27 News at 5:30. I'm Chief Meteorologist Casanova Nurse, and we're back in the lobby of the Ruby Diamond Concert Hall for yet another series of concerts from our own Capital City Orchestra, the Tallahassee Symphony Orchestra. And, of course, you can probably guess that the concert tonight and tomorrow night, both beginning at 8 o'clock, have something to do with the holiday season. Holiday Magic is what's themed, and of course you'll hear the traditional carols and other tunes related to the Christmas and related seasons. And not just the music, but you'll hear what's been called a real creature of the stage, and nothing short of sensational. It's soloist Shari Gruber, and she'll be performing several solos with the tunes provided by the orchestra. And considering that she sings at a soprano level, I'm sure it's going to be an attention grabber for sure. So many reasons to get your holiday and your Christmas spirit up and get prepared for what's likely to be a very busy week ahead in preparation for the Christmas season. And you can sit down and enjoy all the tunes here in the auditorium. Now, I know some of you probably are in the preparation phase of packing luggage and maybe making your way out and about out of the region. Well, if you have local travels in the immediate future, maybe you're heading to the Forgotten Coast, you will likely encounter some shower activity. But that's about the only concentrated areas of rain that we have at this current time. But if you are not going to take the roads and instead take to the airways around the region, well, there aren't too many problems when it comes to delays at our local airports around the region. All nearby airports, including Tallahassee Regional and Valdosta Regional, with no delays. And that's also the trend across the southeast as well. Even though we have the cloudiness and occasional showers, such as around New Orleans, no delays being reported from any of the airports along the Central Gulf. Maybe if you're heading west, you might encounter some disturbed weather that could cause delays currently in San Francisco, and even in the northeastern corridor, limited delays, the only one being reported nearly an hour delay near Newark, New Jersey. So overall, we are looking okay when it comes to travel abroad, but if you're keeping it close to the Big Bend in South Georgia, there will be some showers around, and there's been a good source of moisture and a nice upper flow that's allowing the moisture below to rise and give way to the cloudiness and developing the showers that we have. A little heavier along the Emerald Coast region, where the moisture is just a little more available than it is elsewhere. But now even Thomasville is encountering some of the extra cloud cover, so most locations with overcast conditions and temperatures a little short of 50, except for Valdosta, right now 61. Now, not all of us have had rain, but those that did, mostly on the light side, and I think that will be the trend through tomorrow. There were some earlier concerns that this current system across the Western Gulf could be just a little better organized, but I think with the upper winds in place and an overall lack of warmth, we're not going to see any sort of huge strengthening of this system. So it looks like our rain coverage is still going to be somewhat on the low side.
Made after FBI agents say Williams confessed to them. He was arrested on charges of suspicion of production, receipt, distribution, and possession of child pornography. Now, Brittany Kleinpeter joined us now to bring us more details. And Brittany, you were over at the school today. How is the community reacting?
I spoke with several residents who live near the school today, and many of them say that they're just in shock.
You know, word be a good word, you know, because people go to work every day and, you know, expecting for their children to be, you know, protected and in good hands.
Parents are concerned after FBI agents say that Rudiger Elementary School employee Jonathan Williams confessed to taking lewd pictures of young boys. Jonathan Williams has worked in the school system since 2002. He worked as a bus driver for 8 years and became a registrar at Rudiger Elementary School in 2010. Residents in the nearby neighborhood of the school say the news is startling.
I was shocked when I heard about it. I live near the school. Actually, my best friend, his son goes to that school, so you know, it kind of hit home when I heard about it.
Right now, Leon County school officials say there's no evidence to suggest any of the children in the school system were involved in the case, but many still feel it's a sad time for the community.
It's just unfortunate, you know, it's just unfortunate for the community and especially the kids.
Leon County Schools released a statement today saying, quote, after further information was presented in the case, Mr. Jonathan Williams has been placed on administrative leave without pay and the termination process has begun. Mr. Williams was also informed that he should not be present on Rudiger or any other Leon County school campus without prior approval, end quote. Reporting in studio, Brittany Kleinpeter, WTXL ABC 27, dedicated to you.
Sports director Brad Dalton is joining us now, and FSU football players excited about the game, but I'm sure they're kind of maybe not as excited to have their Christmas cut short with their families.
Yeah, they're going to have to come back. Some people aren't going to be able to leave at all. They have the next 3 days off, though, so they're going to be able to try and get to see their families before they get over. You know, we're only 10 days away from this ball game.
10 days, loving it.
I mean, it's unbelievable. This little time, it's usually that long period of waiting in between the ACC championship and the bowl game, but this is kind of just flown right by. We're about to be ready to head over to the West Coast. Florida State football team, they held their final bowl practice here in Tallahassee earlier today. After taking a few days off for Christmas, the Noles are going to come back together on Friday and then fly out to California. Now, one of the most important people at FSU practices is a player that hasn't even seen any playing time on the field in his 2 years. Quarterback John Franklin, well, he's been tasked with the role of playing Oregon quarterback Marcus Mariota at practice. It's really nothing new for Franklin. He was also asked to do the same thing last year before FSU took on Nick Marshall and Auburn. Over the next 10 days, it's going to be his job to try and simulate all the speed that Mariota has and that Oregon offense in order to give the FSU defense just an idea of exactly what they're going to be going up against in the Rose Bowl.
He's a very good simulation. John Franklin's one of the fastest people on this team. So, I mean, to be able to go and get that sort of real-time, you know, the real-time speed of the game like that in practice, you know, it helps us out a lot.
Georgia offensive coordinator Mike Bobo getting set to leave Athens and become the new head coach for the Colorado State Rams. He's going to be replacing Jim McElwain, who left to become the new head coach down in Gainesville for the Florida Gators. An official announcement still expected to come in the next day or so, but it is being reported that Bobo is going to receive a 5-year contract with the Rams. Well, afternoon hoops action today over at the Tucker Center. Florida State men with a rare early afternoon game on a Monday. The Noles welcoming the Stetson Hatters into town. The Tucker Center filled with a lot of holiday spirit for this afternoon's contest. Cameron Harvey from Stetson, he's going to get free nail the jumper from the top of the key. Stetson holding a brief one-shot lead. Less than a minute to go in the half. Xavier Rattan-Mays drives inside, gets the lay-in to fall. Seminoles up by 1. And right before the half, it's Rattan-Mays again. This time he's going to drive, draw in the defense, and dish it off to Michael Ojo inside for the slam. Noles up by 3 at the break, and they go on to win 63-59.
Turn away. I'm inspired.
You thought
You thought you were watching a clip from Disney's hit animated show Frozen, but you were actually watching Facebook responses to people telling a woman who has come out with some pretty big claims.
Yeah.
Welcome to Second Cup, by the way. It's our web exclusive show on WTXL.tv. I'm Greg Angel.
Kelly Bartoli.
Max Taparis here as well.
This is where we talk about the weird, the
wonderful,
not today, the talkative, everything behind the scenes. We let the tie loose a little bit and talk about what you want to talk about. And a lot of people
There you go.
are talking about this little Peruvian author who apparently just needs to let it go.
Yeah, suing Disney for $250 million.
Say that again.
$250 million. She says they stole her life story
I don't get
and
it.
turned it into Frozen.
Seriously.
I do feel like Elsa in this dress.
Yeah,
So
we're
if
all
only
wearing the blue
If I had
today.
the ice. Yeah, she said that Disney.
Stealing your story now.
I know. I could be Elsa. She said they took the characters, the plot, out of a book that she wrote that was based on her life that chronicled her family's survival during an earthquake in 1970.
They survived by creating ice castles.
Apparently. Now, Disney, of course,
In
they're like,
Peru?
no, this is a Hans Christian Andersen story. This is totally ours.
Which they also say because Hans Christian Andersen, because if you kind of play with the words a little bit, you get a couple of the names of the
Hans,
characters.
yeah, and Christoph, and yeah.
I didn't know that. That's fun.
Okay, so here's the question though. Can we analyze this a little bit?
We have to.
Because the woman says, this is my life story. So I think we need to look at how Disney stole this woman's life story.
And I love the movie of Frozen. I just didn't know it was.
Because we're talking about we're talking about real life princesses.
You know, she touches things.
And it becomes ice.
And she can shoot ice and snow. I mean, you saw her building.
This is more of a. Whoa.
See, it's my power. It's my ice power.
This is more of a stealing from King Midas than anything, I would say, right?
Yeah,
the whole touching, turning into another thing.
Here, look it. Here's where she starts making the snow.
And then she throws it at her face.
And
Not to mention, she almost killed her sister, by the way.
She almost kills her sister, but
Is
then
there an almost sister death chronicled in that lady's life?
Well,
Earthquake, maybe,
only
but
if her sister was then saved by trolls who come in the form of rocks who then like rumble to life.
Oh yeah, there they are.
And then they can heal things and they can sing and dance too. And of course, Olaf.
The speaking
The
snowman.
speaking hilarious snowman. I gotta say, I do love Olaf.
Olaf's the best in that movie. Olaf's so silly.
I mean, I would
him
be
a couple
okay
weeks ago.
if Olaf was like, if he was real, if he could come back. And of course, then, if you haven't seen the ending, well, too bad. You've had plenty of time to see it. You know, Anna,
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Turn us off if you don't want to know. Here we
Anna,
go.
Didn't this
she
happen in Chronicles of
freezes,
Narnia, though?
And then look.
Kinda.
She, you know, it was because it
Sisterly
was a
love.
true love act where she
Woman
sacrificed
power.
herself for her sister. She comes back to life. So,
I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of like the female version of Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah,
if you
we
ask me.
asked we put this out to viewers. A lot of people have been sharing the story on Facebook and Twitter. Terry Norton wrote, that could be so many people's lives. She can't claim it's only based on her life.
Paula Kiger also chiming in, Olaf, to that is under consideration. Jeez. And then Addie Hampton also saying, there's no mention of a talking snowman in the lawsuit. For now, Olaf is safe.
Olaf, good. A different Paula wrote on mine. She wrote what with about 5 T's
Although
and
she
5
probably-
question marks.
She
which
probably
I
said it
agree
more
is
like,
true.
what?
Yeah. And you know,
So
Frozen,
here's the
though,
thing. I mean, it made a whole lot of money.
A ton of money, but now, I mean, there's this lawsuit, and I know you're not happy about this new Disney World attraction.
No,
Are we allowed
because
to
here's
go
the
there?
thing. Norway is one of my favorite attractions. One of countries
Epcot.
at
Oh, okay.
Epcot.
I'm like, what are
and
you
they've got
talking
the
about?
Maelstrom, the ride.
Right.
You know, you see the Vikings and all that.
Yeah.
So Disney is officially closing that in a couple weeks, and they're going to redo the whole thing as a Frozen attraction. But this is a whole nother rant that you guys are getting me started on.
Well,
I
do
just
y'all
don't
want to
know
go here? Because I'll
I don't know
start
why
it.
they can't have 2. I mean, you got 20 seconds for your rant.
There's not enough time.
Go.
If you follow me, if you're friends with me on Twitter, you know my thoughts.
Okay, but the
already.
Maelstrom
Don't do it.
ride, I'm sorry, it's kind of outdated.
And Frozen's such a big
Right.
movie, it's going to go down in the history books. They need to make something out of it.
I got her again.
I'm going to use my
She's gonna
ice
sue me
powers
for
on
that.
you. You're frozen.
Goodbye.